Well, it's like I thought. A little bit of sun gets shining. We were above freezing anyway, and that stuff coming out of those trees really fast. Good time not to be trying to walk underneath them, I can tell you that. Without an umbrella anyway. I need to keep a close eye on these boots and shoes. Planning on going home on Wednesday, and Thursday's our wedding anniversary. Bonnie's such a great wife, she told me, oh, don't worry about being back, don't worry about being back. But I've been here a good long time. Got a few more days to really soak it up and enjoy. But still, I'm going to keep close tabs on these boots and shoes so I don't lose one. Good thing there's a good track in snow. You know what we got going on here? You notice that's one shoe. We got to catch up with it. Everybody blames me for losing a shoe, but I tell you, they like it here too. They got a way of sneaking off. Now you get back inside and quit trying to sneak away. Guess I better pay closer attention. That second pot of coffee is about gone, and I'm itching to get out for a walk. But the sun's been shining and melting all this stuff off, and looking down through those trees down there, the way that all this stuff's dripping, you'd think it was pouring rain out here. Well, the effect's going to be the same, so I may take the umbrella along till I get up past where the tree cover is. Going to start cooling down this afternoon, and with the sun shining, I really want to get out there and do a little more exploring. Well, I finally braved it, heading up a trail going north. really kind of different up here. You'd think I was here in the middle of November, not October 13th. Be a little crunchy in the morning the way they're talking, and I finally drop down and get a real freeze. Probably the first time really, October 13th. Out here it just touched frost one night, but not enough to do anything, so really late for this country to have the first drop below freezing. My wife at home in Illinois, I think, has been enduring temperatures a little colder, or right about the same. But I think that weather going down through the Dakotas the last couple of weeks, we've had some record-breaking snows out in Montana and across North Dakota. Something on the radio, I think there's as much as 17 inches over there, but it peters out when you get to Minnesota. And by the time you get to my area, we've just been dealing with these little minor snow showers that amount to an inch or two. And a few hours later like this, the sun comes out and we're back to somewhat bare ground. I just walked this old beaver dam. It's a shortcut over to where I was doing some clearing work the other day, and I knew it had water across someplace, but I might try to get across here, but there's a good chance I might not be able to. Cold feet will be the result if I don't make it. Well, one more step and I've made it. Could be the last straw though. I made it. With dry feet to boot, no pun intended. Usually I get into these things and regret that I did, but give me a nice shortcut today to check out something. This is one of the early homesteaders' fields. It probably hasn't been a field since 1935. But in the past, the DNR has come in and they've brushed it out and kept it open for good, just a wildlife habitat diversity. You need these openings so everything doesn't grow up into balsam trees. And with staffing cuts and whatever reasons lately, I've been the only one to do any maintenance on these, but I just can't stand to see it go back to a tall stand of worthless balsam. So I came back the other day and I got it brushed out, and probably did it last 6 or 8 years ago, so it keeps it down. But it's really nice to come out here and, you know, maybe you see an owl sitting in a tree hunting for mice, or see the tracks or the deer have been out browsing. It's just very important that you maintain these little bit of diversity. I'm sure I have filmed going through this passage before, but not with the high water and the sloshing. I talk about the logging camp, I talk about these homesteads, and this is just one of the roads they had. These trees aren't all that big, but I'm thinking that this road was here when those trees were young, and that's why nothing grew in the roadway. Pretty poor ground and wet, so nothing's going to grow very fast. Mostly anything here is black spruce, cedar, a few balsams. Might need my umbrella again here coming up, a lot of stuff dripping. One reason I came this way is because it allows me to sneak in the backside of Hawks Pond. When I headed out, I didn't plan on going this far, but as usual, so nice out here, I just keep bumbling along, going a little further. Next thing you know, we're there. Back in the day, most of the traffic went left on that part of the road. Where the trees, I don't think too many turn to the right. And the trail ahead is just my making between the trees. There's no road there. But from here up to the north, this was a main thoroughfare. Just about stepped on a snowshoe hare back there before I got out here to Hawks Pond, but no chance for a picture. Took off and big hind feet showing the white this time of year. They started to change, and those big back pads are the first thing to change, and so they really show up as they run through the woods. See, the tamaracks are really nice, and the cedars have hung on to their needles, so there's some nice beauty over there on that. Seems like the scenes on Hawks Pond are always different whenever you come. I think there might be a lone beaver living out here on Hawks Pond, and the main house out here is pretty well decrepit and sunk pretty low. There'd be no place to have cover with the water this high, so I think it's got a little hole bored here in the dam, and it keeps building it up higher every time I come out here. There's more mud and sticks up on top of this future house. And out in the water there's some brush he's starting to gather as food for the winter. So maybe sometimes there's these really old beaver that can't get along with anybody else, and they head off on themselves, kind of like an old rogue beaver. In my trapping days, we'd catch them sometimes, and they'd be 50, and the biggest one we ever got was 73 pounds, but some of the old timers like that, I'm told, just head off. Now this is a really fresh wolf track on Hawks Pond. If I had to say what happened here, a wolf heard me talking and came out here in the dam and took a peek, turned around and went back in. Kind of interesting. I'm going to keep checking my back here. I know that wolf is right in there, and I could even, give a howl and maybe I see if I can get a rise out of him, but I don't do that much, and I think I'll just let him be. But by the tracks, I know he's right in there. He hasn't come out yet. I've been around enough wolf behavior up here at Cedar Tracks, and you don't get to see them that often, but I know they're always around. And in this case, I was just curious, so I made a circle and I've come back to check out my tracks, because I thought there was a good chance there'd be wolf tracks where after I went by, he'd come out and walk on my tracks. Not that he was after me, but he'd be like, when you see a drunk driver, the safest place is to stay behind that guy. And they like to keep track of what's going on in their woods. So I didn't see any tracks in my track, but when I got right over here, I could smell it. Now it's a really wet day, and going through that stuff he's in, that wolf is wet. And he smells like a wet dog. And believe me, it stinks pretty good. So, you ever get the idea you're being watched? This is why some openings in the woods are a really good idea. Look at those rose bushes and all those hips. And these red stem things are a dogwood that deer can browse on. And then even the young aspen coming up. It's good browse. Holy cow, what happened here? Oh, that's right. I came through here 2 weeks ago, clearing all these fallen trees off my trail. Gonna enjoy the walk today, though. This is a good example of what my grit station is for them in a natural state. These trees tip over, bring up a big root ball like that, and at certain areas down there in the fill or the land, there might be some sand, mud, or clay, but then there'll be a stretch in there like here. There's this nice gravel. And so for years, until this falls away, the spruce grouse will be coming up here and getting their grit. And that was what led me to put my own permanent grit station in. I just seen that happening so many times as I deer hunted these woods. I'd see the grouse coming back to those same root balls every morning. This is another old homesteader's field that I worked on this week a little bit. Mainly all I did was cut balsam trees, but when you do that, you leave things like, I think that's a currant plant back there, that really bright thing, and then the young birch, and then as we come around, there's more of that dogwood. A lot of cedars that are big enough to make good browse, and a lot more of the dogwood, maybe a few patches of beaked hazelnut amongst all that, and then just some of the younger willow and the younger aspen trees make really good deer browse. This is one of the 3 beaver dam trails that I bring my brush cutter to cut that reed canary grass off the top of. And I just got looking at this thing of how much extra distance those beavers ended up with. Come around the corner there, almost a 90. Now we almost do a 90 going back that way. Then a few more curves before they finally finish up over there.